Well, have you had a good time? All right. So stewardship is? Leadership is? And the way we do that is we set the vision. We look at the process, create the operational excellence, bring the people around to cause that to happen. You've met up here in some of the panels, some of the stewardship pastors that are out there. That is a growing trend in America today for some of the leading churches to have stewardship pastors. It wasn't that many decades ago it was unusual to have a children's pastor, and it wasn't that many decades before that it was unusual to have a worship pastor. Today you wouldn't even think of having a church without a worship pastor or a stewardship pastor, or a worship pastor and a children's pastor. And we see a day in the future where stewardship has become central, and because it touches so many different areas and so many different things going on. And it's simply this, because one of the elements of stewardship that really I understood as I was getting saved, as I met the Lord, was that stewardship has an element of lordship to it. That God is the Lord. He's in charge. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. And when we get that right, we understand we're just managing whatever it is, the whole thing, not just the tithe, not just the offering, but that He's in charge of everything and we are just managers. When you put that in place, then you start to see all your relationships differently. You start to see how you handle money differently, and you start to see how this sits in a church curriculum or a church DNA, an organizational DNA, as a part of where you go from there. Again, we're managing God's blessings, God's ways, for God's glory. And that's tying everything we've been talking about together, whether it's the hero journey. And yeah, I heard Ken talking to you about Donald Miller and Donald's book, and Donald's a good friend, and that stuff has rocked our world, man. You don't think those debt-free screams that we do? I'm debt-free! Is that not the hero celebration? That's the hero celebration. You know who the guide is? Me. I'm the guide in that process. I'm guiding them through that. They come up to me in the airport and they say, "You changed my life." And I say, "Oh, no. You changed your life, hero. I'm just the guide." But the guide has a much richer position in the journey. It's got a depth to it. It's a lot of fun. You want to get to the end and be the guide. If your church is the hero, if your pastor is the hero, you got problems coming. You reset the church as the guide and let the congregant in their hero journey discover Jesus in the process, and you guide them in that process and discover the different elements of putting on the character of Christ in their life, and you guide them in that process. If 70% of Americans' families are living paycheck to paycheck, that means we drive down the street that you live on. We count 10 houses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 7 of them have too much month left at the end of the money. 7 of them are not having fun. 7 of them have the marital stress. The number one cause of divorce in North America today is money fights and money problems. Wow. I don't know if you could find anything that's more pandemic from a socioeconomic standpoint than this money issue. I mean, it's completely out of control. And it's just below the surface because everybody's riding around looking like they got it together, don't they? They're all looking like they got it together. They're buying cars they can't afford, houses they can't afford, going on trips they can't afford, so they can put it on Facebook and show their friends who are also broke how great they are. We're buying stuff we don't need with money we don't have to impress people we don't even really like. And it's out of control. It's gotten out of control. It is pandemic at this stage of the game. And you know, it's a horrible news. Chris Brown, I heard him go through the statistics of the pain that is out there. But if the number one, you think about this. What if the number one cause of death in your neighborhood was attacks by bears? You know what we would do? We would all get bear guns. We would all get metal bear suits to wear so the bear can't bite through them. We would all go to the mailbox in threes, watching each other's back for bears, right? We would be all on bears. But the number one cause of divorce in North America today, in a fatherless culture, is financial problems. And you know what? We just stand around and go, that's kind of sad, isn't it? No, this is an all-on assault on bears. We've identified what the problem was. I mean, what if you had the cure to cancer? Wouldn't you tell everybody? We have the cure to the number one cause of divorce. Wouldn't you tell everybody? It's kind of crazy. So what we have to do then is we get to put the process in place, set the vision, put the process in place. We have to get classes started. We have to get the word out, let people know, do the things we have to do to let people know that the help is here. The help is here. What Ron Blue said. Wouldn't it be cool if when I want financial wisdom, the place I thought of is I'm going to go to the church? How cool would that be? If I want to know about marital wisdom, first place I go is to the church. If I want to know how to raise my kids, the first place I go is to the church. That it's the depository of wisdom that I go to. And it is. It is. But somehow we are a little bit guarded. We don't want to be too bravado in our presentation of that. I think we ought to scream it from the hilltops. I think we ought to start making some noise about it and let people know. Over here. Don't go over there. There's bears. Over here. I think we have to start doing that. So we attract those outside the church, inside, by providing the answers to their pain points. That's what it amounts to. That's how I wandered in the back door of a church. Remember the story? My wife wasn't going to get me there. Remember? How'd I get in there? A business guy got up and said, if you want to win at business, the place to do that is through Jesus. And you know where you find him? Over there at the church. And so I walked through the back door of the church looking. It was a pain point, wasn't it? It was a visceral pain point. They had something I needed, something I wanted. I was pursuing something. But it had to be presented in that way for me to go after it. The evangelism aspects of this are astronomical, you guys. That's why we spent this week on this. That's why we think this is so important, and why we've had these world-class speakers and teachers come in here and deliver you the tools you need to go do this stuff. So by leaving this ministry out of a lineup of ministries in any church organization, you're leaving a gaping hole. An opportunity for evangelism, an opportunity for ministry, an opportunity for discipleship that if you don't have it, you just missed. Our whole thing started with me just coaching one-on-one. And all you gotta do is just do one-on-one, don't you? You just gotta do that. You just sit down and start. You gotta start. When in doubt, start something. When in doubt, just go try something. We spend a lot of time in our lives with paralysis of the analysis. Sitting around planning ourselves into oblivion. Sometimes you just need to bump up into something. Sometimes you just need to step up into it and make it happen. Sometimes you just need to go, look, we're trying this. Somebody's not going to like it because it's new. Somebody's not going to like it because it's different. Somebody's not going to like it because there's friction anytime something is moved. Count on it. But go do it anyway. Go do it anyway. So what could the people of God do for the kingdom of God if they were out of debt? Maybe we need to phrase that a different way there in your workbook. Everybody stand up. What will the people of God do because they're debt-free? Say that with me. What will the people of God do because they're debt-free? Say it again. What will the people of God do for the kingdom of God because they're debt-free? Honor to be with you all this week.